I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
I can see you, but I don't hear you.
Kirby or someone could tell them in the chat, we'll work on that.
Okay,
Hear us
I
now?
can hear you now.
Oh.
Yep, gotcha. Going again.
City 405 North Des Moines Street. And 3 is renewal of Class C liquor license, Class B native wine permit, Class B wine permit, Class C beer permit for Fairway Stores Inc. Number 395, 942 2nd Street.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item B is the third reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance of the Webster City, Iowa by amending Chapter 2, Section 2.3 pertaining to corporate limits. This is tied to the annexation we've worked on for a while. Anybody have any more to this?
This one, I believe. The next one is as well for the 2 mile.
We're doing the third reading on this. Any questions from council? Not, I'll ask for a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, so C is tied to the same thing. This is the third reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance of the City of Webster City, Iowa by amending Chapter 44, Section 44-4 pertaining to the 2 mile jurisdiction limits. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Move to pass in the back. Second.
All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Great. Item D is the third reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Webster City, Iowa by amending Chapter 10, Section 1077 pertaining to building codes. This is basically a wording change. Right? Any more on this?
Not exactly, just a wording change for the valuation calculation portion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Can I get a motion to pass it down?
Second.
Or say aye. Opposed, same sign. Great. Item E is a first reading of an ordinance repealing the Code of Ordinances of the City of Webster City, Iowa, 2019 by amending Chapter 34, Article 4, pertaining to offenses relating to minors within the corporate limits of the City of Webster City, Iowa. Carol, Zach, any more on this?
Also, state laws changed a few years back, when you weren't be able to buy or sell tobacco products in the state. We just had to change the ordinance. So we obviously didn't know it still said 18 until recently. So, or it's just this one in the next one.
I get a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Great. Item F is the first reading of an ordinance repealing the Code of Ordinances of Webster City, Iowa, 2019 by amending Chapter 12, Article 2, pertaining to businesses within the corporate limits of the City of Webster City. Again, Zach.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, John. I'll give you a couple seconds.
Go for it.
Item G is a resolution approving the designation of SLF or F funds for the City of Webster City. Daniel, you want to elaborate on this?
Sure. This matter pertains to the funds we received as part of the ARPA funding or the COVID recovery funds that the Congress and the President signed and approved last year. Part of the funds are allowed to be used for water infrastructure, which we've talked in the past about moving forward with AMI metering, advanced metering infrastructure for our water meters as well as for electric meters. Water infrastructure would be the only one that would be applicable, as well as the cost of the overall project exceeds what we are actually receiving of $1,143,160.51. That bulk would cover the majority of the water meters and the associated infrastructure and components. We're kind of in a bit of a time crunch, both in terms of reporting as well as when to spend it down and dealing with the supply chain issues of when we would actually get some of the metering and equipment to actually move forward with install this. But in addition to that, as we've talked about in the goal setting session and previous meetings about succession planning, we start looking at some of our workforce as they are going to be eligible for retirement here in the next 3 to 7 years. Some of those are have institutional knowledge that would be applicable during this transition, which is another reason why we want to move forward with the AMI metering project as soon as possible. So we're requesting that the council just affirm the allocation of those COVID funds to this project so that we can continue to move forward with that. We have until, I believe, 2026, if I'm not mistaken, to spend that down.
Great.
We'll get the feedback from John.
So on item G, do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item H is a resolution providing for notice of hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of cost for the water treatment facility improvement project. May 16th, 2020 at 6:05. So we're just setting a date and time for the hearing. Or 2022, sorry. Why I said 2022. Beatty, you come on this?
Chemical feed system and reporting system at the water treatment plant upgrade. So this project has been let and the bids are moving. We're just requesting that the council set the hearing. Go ahead and accept the bid.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Item I is a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve Jaycox family request of a fire pit memorial in honor of Scott Jaycox at Brewer Creek Park. Daniel Beatty, any more of this?
So the Jaycock family would like to honor Scott Jaycock for the and so about commission for approval and both recommend the approval for you. After hours. No, I don't. I work
Oh, great.
This, this was sent to the police department, fire department, and the street department as well. Police department and fire department responded that just so they can get down the center of the street if there's an emergency, and he replied that that wouldn't be a problem. And that the Freeman Journal wouldn't be having deliveries, you know, during that time, which you confirmed that too, so. I think Berlin and the street department has concern on using cones versus barricades, and we can work that out, so.
Any other questions from council?
The only thing I want to point out to council, this is Anna's first presentation to you guys as the executive director of the chamber since being elevated last month.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I've worked with Anna a little bit, you know, in the last month or so with some ribbon cuttings and stuff, and you've been doing great, especially new to town. You really got out and met a lot of business people and community members. So that's been awesome. No, great. Now with that, I'll ask for a motion. to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item K is a request from Kendall Young Library to close a portion of the 600 block of Water Street on April 28th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. for a library game.
From my understanding from Keta was this is the portion of Water Street between St. Thomas and Kendall Young Library. So from Des Moines to trying to blank on what that street was. Wilson. I was gonna say Woolsey. It's not Woolsey. So, but yeah, it's for that afternoon hour.
Another reason why.
Because you can approve. these
You
in
can,
respect, right?
yeah.
It's in front of us because why is it in front of us?
I think we put it on here because the chamber was on here, but this really wouldn't
Yeah.
have to have council approval because it's for a short enough time and not on the main street.
Well, I appreciate you putting it up for us to approve. With that, I'll call for a motion. to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Discuss the citywide cleanup and drop-off event for 2022. Daniel, you fill that one, or you want us to?
Yeah, I think we were looking at a tentative date. I know Carol's talked to the middle school about, we've always had it at the middle school in recent years in the parking lot of Des Moines. So we typically have done it after the end of the school year. The first weekend I'd be available would be the June 10th and 11th, if I'm not mistaken. That Friday and Saturday. We talked a little bit about it during our staff meeting earlier about making sure we have proper signage, and partly because in the past we've had items that the landfill or the transfer station doesn't accept, things such as tires and CRT TVs and some other things. So Carol had pulled some information in terms of what we spent in the past. I want to say it was under $3,500, if I'm not mistaken. Total cost that gets recovered to the landfill fees that the city charges on our utilities. So if that date works for all of you, we can move in that direction. I also know in the past we haven't required residency, proof of residency. We continue down that way unless you guys see a different evidence.
I was wondering about the times. In the past, it's been 12 noon to 4 on Friday, and then Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. But you may want to think about shortening on Saturday just because we get full and the landfill shuts down at 11 or noon, I think. Yeah. To where they're usually closing early anyway.
We've never made the 2 o'clock time on a Saturday anyway.
We've always maxed out the bins they had available for us, right? Like we just basically just piling them up to the point of unsafety, gone safe, and we said it shut down. Yeah, so it might be a good idea to just shut it down at noon. June 10th, 11th.
Yep. Yeah, we've typically, we try to have the staff is available. Saturday is probably where we definitely need volunteers, especially. We've typically have invited and asked the wrestling team to come and assist and accepted free will donations for them. So certainly would still like to do that as well.
Do we need a consensus or anything? Or we just good?
I think we're good. Middle school is available. I already filled out the request to use the lot and everything. So I know those dates are available.
You can agree. I mean, we've all kind of.
So Saturday, Saturday is probably the bigger time when we need to back here.
Even if it's just directing people where to, which bin to.
Me too. Not very strong, too.
A fair warning, I believe 5-6 years ago, it was a weekend that was really hot and humid, so drink plenty of water. Bring a hat. Yeah. So, okay, we'll plan on that.
Very good. Item 4 is reports and recommendations of officers, boards, and commissions. Below this, I have financial reports of March, the city manager report for March, inspection department report for March, the police department report for March, police department nuisance report, that's January through March, the fire department March report, and Hamilton County Solid Waste Commission agenda packet from 4/13/22.
Second.